Welcome to Worlds Collide, a wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zhan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way. What's up, wrestling fans? Another episode, but this one's going to be weird. Worlds collide, and we're going to... Yeah, I don't even know what to say about this. This is wrestling cards featuring animals. We do have some talking points, but this is one of those, you know, I say this every time, one of those episodes where Tony randomly throws me an idea, and I don't know, you know, what's going on when he sends me some of these. Some of them I'm like, yes. Some of them I'm like, no. Some of them I'm like, this is weird. Let's talk about it, and this is one of those. Wrestling cards featuring animals.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought of this, but then again, it's like, and
Why not?
this has been sitting on our show notes page for months. I think it's been sitting there for a while, and just like, where do we go with this? What are we going to do with this? So, for those listening, I have no idea where this is going. We have very limited notes on this, no real examples. And when we talk about wrestling cards with animals, I ain't talking. Oh, we're going to talk about George the Animal Steel or Road Warrior Animal,
Guys,
or
sorry
Jake the Snake.
Sorry to break it to you. This whole episode is going to be about Batista.
It's not even about Batista either. The animal. We're not talking about. We're not even being obscure like Junkyard Dog or British Bulldogs or Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or not even Superfly Jimmy Snuka. I mean, we're talking about physically having cards that have, I guess, featuring animals on them. So I don't have any real strong examples, I guess. Didn't do a whole lot of homework on this one talking about it, but I mean, what comes to your mind?
It may be a shorter episode, but there are talking points. And actually, you were just saying we're not going to talk about those cards, but I think you actually could. Not from necessarily the animal on the card perspective, but the connection with the names, because we talk about interesting ways to put together collections. Hypothetically, maybe there's somebody out there that works in the animal field. Maybe you're a veterinarian. Maybe you work at the zoo and you like wrestling.
Very good
and you
point.
want that connection. I keep talking all the time on anything we put out, podcast, YouTube, whatever. Finding the connection with wrestling cards or any segment of the hobby, whether it's sports, Disney, Game of Thrones, like whatever it is that you have this weird connection to. And when you said animals and cards, my mind immediately went there. So hypothetically, you're a wrestling fan, you're a zookeeper or a veterinarian or somebody that works in the animal field. You want the Junkyard Dog. You want the Jake the Snake. And you can kind of, what if it's just a base card collection? What if it's a relic collection? Like there's so many different ways you could take this from. Again, having the connection to the cardboard and melding those together into forming your own PC that who cares what it's worth? It's your connection with that thing. Thoughts?
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. If someone in a business, or is this an animal lover who's like, you know what, but I like wrestling too, so I'm going to collect people that are, have ties to animals. That's kind of cool. I didn't think about that one. My concept was just talking about animals that actually are on wrestling cards. That was so stupid. Now we're talking about, I like that idea so much better as someone wants to go out and collect. I'm a George the Animal Steel fan now, or just because he has animal name. That's actually a pretty cool idea. It's a cool concept.
Maybe they pair that with Animal from the Muppets. Like there's a card and a card, like putting them together. Yeah. I mean, it's not really an animal, but it says it on both cards.
Sure, why not?
And I just continue. I think I've said it like 50 times on this episode already. Guys, if you're out there and you don't want to spend thousands on the mainstream hobby headline cards and you want to be part of the hobby, go out there and put together these interesting PCs for yourself. Like find the things that you have connection with, whether it's it doesn't matter if it's a big name Hulk Hogan or if it's Dewdrop or if it's some random jobber from like WCW. It doesn't matter. Just have fun, pair together whatever it is you want. So let's kind of meld the two together, and I think the first thing that's going to come to a lot of people's minds is the Heritage short prints from 2021 WWE Heritage. They had a huge, like, I still see people posting them. When they initially came out, they were fairly expensive, and did we ever figure out what a approximate front run of these were?
Nope, I don't think so.
I feel like I heard estimates thrown around of like less than 100 on some of
Yeah,
these. So
50 to 100.
yeah, that sounds about what I like. We don't know that that's right. It's just that's what I seem to hear other people throw around, and it could just be the hobby making things up.
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
knows? But I think this was really cool. I think the images of these, like they tried to match them to the character based on like the one that stands out for me is Charlotte Flair with the peacock
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
the matching her gear. Or my favorite, the Roman Reigns, which featured a bully breed, all
Yeah.
black, and that's exactly what I think of when I see Roman Reigns. Randy Orton, the Viper, featuring the
Yep.
snake. That's good. And there was a few like wasn't Sheamus a shark? Was that I can't remember.
I think so.
I want to say his was the shark, and I was kind of like, well, I don't know
I
how that
think
really
you're.
matches up, but it's
Yeah.
still a cool image.
Yeah.
Like not taking that that 90 baseball design and putting it on there
Yeah.
with that with an animal. Like maybe there's some people out there that are like they collect the Allen and Ginter shark tooth cards, and now they want a shark card, so they go after this WWE one. There are people out there that do stuff like that where they have a collection based around something again because they thought outside the box putting together a PC, and they'll go grab a card that fits that from baseball, from Marvel, from wrestling, and put it together into a cool PC. So that's the first thing that came to mind. I think those are still on collectors' minds within wrestling cards, but I think it's died down a little bit. Whole another topic for a whole another episode. Why I think modern cards die down so quickly. But what do you think about that set overall?
Exactly what you said. I didn't get it at first. I thought it was kind of a really like. First, I thought it was a joke. To be honest with you, I first thought it was a
Yeah,
joke.
I could
I
see
thought
that.
I thought that this wasn't even legit. Like, oh, I didn't know there was variants to these cards like that there, and then they became like more and more like, oh, these are actually real, and people jumped all over it, man. They loved. I think the majority of people from the posts that I saw on social media were excited about it. Some thought like, I don't get it. Like I don't get it. And that's different strokes for different folks.
Right.
I get it. But overall, anything that generates or creates a buzz in the hobby for me is a good thing. So
Good or bad, yep.
Yeah, good or bad. I mean, people are talking about the hobby. I prefer it to be more good than bad, obviously. But you take the good, you take the bad, and there you have. So it's just interesting. I don't collect any of that stuff. I mean, what would they have for Dexter Loomis if they had something like that? I don't know. Be Michael Myers.
Ooh, there's a good horror crossover. Now, yeah.
Well, fun fact for you people. You guys know why he's named Dexter Loomis, right? It's Dexter. We all know that from the TV show Dexter. And Loomis. That's Dr. Loomis from the first Halloween movies.
Okay, perfect.
The guy chasing him.
Perfect
That's
comparison.
It's Loomis. Loomis from Halloween.
So, right off the top of my head, then, are you going to go find some Dexter cards and Halloween cards to go with your collection?
No, I don't think so. No, no.
That's just kind of
Maybe Halloween cards I'd be interested in, but I'm not a big not for Dexter.
well, I meant just to pair it. Now that you put it that way, just to pair it with your Dexter PC. See, that's the kind of weird out of the box
Now
thinking.
you know what? I like that because now what came to my mind is having something in a framed up 3-card set. I could have something from Dexter on one side of the TV show, Halloween on the other side. In the middle is Loomis.
Yeah,
right
one of those images too when he's just like staring.
Yep.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, 3. I'm doing it. Consider it done. I'm doing it now.
See, we started to talk about animals on cards, and all of a sudden it spawned ideas of little PCs. And again, this isn't going to break the bank, so it's
No. Just base cards that'd be look really cool. So
you want to talk about throwing more audibles in this weird episode? We're going to inject a tiny bit of This Is Your Card Animal Edition, and we're going to do the crossover ideas or fantasy cards that you could create. The first thing, and I don't even know if you have anything off the top of your head, Tony, but the first thing that I thought of, I don't remember the set, but if you guys go out there and look, there are these football cards that are Marvel NFL crossovers. They're metal.
Yep.
And I don't know why the popularity around them is not taken off, but it has like, I have a picture of the Hulk in the background with a player on the front, or Wolverine. And my idea would be to do the same thing in a shiny format card. Like Finest seems to be what I would go with over Chrome for some reason. Maybe there was those Finest Legacy cards where it was like, feature like The Miz. Of course, I don't want to talk about him, but The Miz and the Ultimate Warrior in the background. So you could do something similar to where you have like Chris Benoit. I know a lot of people don't talk about it, but a Wolverine in the background, or a Mastodon in the background with Vader, or Junkyard Dog with a couple of dogs, and then him. You know, there you could go on and on,
Yep.
and that
I
ties it
don't.
back to what you started talking about.
Yeah, I don't got anything for that. I didn't even think about that. That's some good stuff. I remember those cards too. I don't know if I'd go. Yeah, Finest might be okay. I probably would stick with Chrome maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
Um,
or if AEW decided to do something similar to that with the Upper Deck license, they would have Metal Universe, which is what.
oh yeah, yep,
Yep.
true. Um, yeah, that could be fun. That could be fun too. So yeah, like you could even do a whole bunch of stuff for like a legacy series on that too, where you talk about guys like British Bulldogs and things like
Yep.
that. And I mean, it'd be simple, just putting a bulldog image in the back, so like that, and the British Bulldogs in front, kind of thing, or
Coco Beware with a full bleed parrot,
yeah,
and then a
parrot in the
picture of
background.
him.
Yep,
Hmm.
yep. Or just even a cobra in the background, Jake the Snake.
Yep.
Kind of thing. It just there's endless amounts like that, really.
What about like a full bleed Cobra, like you said, and then Jake the Snake and Randy Orton square like face to
Oh,
face, like that.
yeah,
There's
that'd be
there's
cool.
all these potential for animal crossover cards that I don't know if we're gonna see, but hey, after this episode, maybe Panini and Fanatics that are listening to us, because we know they do, and they're
Of
listening
course.
to our
Why wouldn't
ideas, and they're like, "Oh, those guys are smart. We're gonna do that."
they? But think of the crossover appeal too. That's a good. It's not only fun for collectors, but good PR for any manufacturer out there who wants to go put something like that out. Just because, I mean, who doesn't love to take care of animals, for crying out loud, or donate something to the animal organizations and shelters like that? So, I mean, how
Yep.
cool would that be?
Maybe it appeals to kids more. Kids like
Yeah.
animals. Maybe it gets them into wrestling cards because they have more animals. Maybe they do limited rare one-off productions that actually benefit certain animal rescues or something along those lines. There's just the endless possibilities with the animals, despite us kind of kicking things off with animals, wrestling cards. How does that work? There's actually a lot of crossover appeal, but again, it takes that outside the box thinking that sometimes collectors have a hard time getting outside of that box, but we're here to
Yeah.
help you with that.
Yeah, this episode has gone further than I expected it to go, so this is good.
Yep. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, now I've taken away something from this episode, and that's I'm going to make my Dexter and Halloween combination thing. I like that.
Perfect.
Hopefully by this time next year.
You should make you should make it a 1 year like resolution to get it done by Halloween of next year.
That's a good idea. Consider it done.
There you go.
I'm going to have something nice. If you guys have any ideas on what you think I should bridge, like if there's Halloween trading cards, and if they're, I mean, hell, we live in a custom card world now too, so I could even make my own if I really wanted to.
It's true.
But I'd rather own something that's, if there was an actual Halloween set put out, I want something from that. I know for a fact that there's Dexter trading cards. I would take something from that, and then I would find myself like a cool Loomis card to put in the middle. It's like this marriage of the two things.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I love it.
That's what we're here to do. You might look at the titles of our episodes and you might say, "Oh, well, they're not talking about investing. They're not talking about wrestling all-stars. They don't know what they're talking about." Well, here we are giving you guys ideas on how to collect, thinking outside the box, where you're not necessarily going to break the bank, but you're still going to have fun. You're still going to be able to engage with the community. And speaking of engagement, if you guys want to talk about this or anything we've talked about today or anything else with wrestling cards, make sure to check us out on social media. Let's get a conversation started about just whatever. I mean, anything that has to do with a hobby, we'll have a good time with it. Twitter seems to be the place to go. You can find our social links in the show notes. And make sure to tag us in anything that, or, reach out to us if you have questions on anything. Tony, anything else? Let everybody know where they can find you.
No, I'm just sitting here still thinking about what I'm going to do with that.
It's going to be like an ongoing thing now.
Yeah, I'm almost like I'm going to be obsessed by this. I know it for a fact, and I don't like it. Thank you very much. Yeah, for me, it's going to be WrestlingTradingCards.com, guys. That's the drill. I mean, everything's there on the bottom of every page for all of our social media platforms like that. 20 years, buddy. 20 years this year for WTC. Officially, our birthday is December 2nd. So we'll see what's going on. I won't even be in this damn country when it happens. So, but
celebrating from abroad.
Celebrating from abroad, man, because WTC is global.
It is. So is wrestling. That's why we love this so much. You can check me out, Wrestling with Cards, on YouTube, Wrestling with Cards, the podcast, at Zhan Morning on all social platforms. Again, if you need help with any of this, links to Tony's website, links to everything I'm doing, links to our social platforms, everything is in the show notes for whatever you're listening to this on, or if you're watching on YouTube. Again, please subscribe wherever you're listening to this. Leave us a review if you like it. If you don't like it, spread the word. That really helps get this audio out in front of more people, to just spread the word. If you know a wrestling fan, somebody that collects trading cards, whether it's sports, wrestling, non-sport, it doesn't matter. Spread the word, get this available, because that's how we continue to grow the hobby and come up with interesting ideas, kind of like what we did today. But we thank you guys for listening. Thanks for the engagement, and thanks for supporting us. Up until then, thanks for supporting animals and animals in wrestling cards.
Because you know why?
I
Because
don't know
wrestling
why.
cards rule.
We'll see ya.